to Geekin Out 2K20. This is the Bitch and Glitchin' edition. Hold on a minute, let me get out. There we go. Alright.
Oh, you actually recording?
Now, yes, we're recording. I'm Spike. I'm over here just out of range. Here I am because I'm lousy at setting things out. We're not in the studio right now. Oh, you think I'm going to come over there?
There's a spot right here.
There's a spot right here. He swears up
I
and down.
didn't realize we were going.
Okay.
Standing up. So I didn't
That's,
look like
that's
I was
par
just
for the course here, Scott.
Man.
That's par for the course here, Scott. Anyway, I'm Spike.
I'm Chris.
That is Chris, and that over there,
I'm Scott.
that's Scott. That, yes, is in Scott's Comic Relief, the first and primary unsponsor of Geekin Out. We're sitting here on Saturday night this time. I'm standing just outside of frame, I don't care. But we're coming down here. We're going to see how things turn out right now. You're going to see some weird editing on this one because I actually brought down our tripod to try to record this. And as usual, I wind up just sticking it on top of a Goku thing to get the films done. Anyway, we're here just recording a regular episode, and we thought we'd ask Scott if we could hang out for a little while at the shop, and the poor fool said yes. You'd think he'd know better than that by now, but anyway, he'll learn fast enough. So anyway, Scott, please introduce yourself to the fans there real quick while I step off camera here and actually make an adjustment because, by God, we're professional here. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. There we are. Go ahead, Scott. Introduce yourself.
The shop's been open, what, 6-7 months now?
Yeah, and you're still open, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Incredibly enough, this was, what was today? Halloween Comic
Yeah,
Fest.
today was Halloween Comic Fest, giving out free books.
We're actually recording this on October 26th, 2019. And apparently this received absolute zero publicity as far as I know, Scott, because
I did not.
I didn't know until
Facebook.
the last minute, yeah. And then as par for the course, as a former comic shop owner to a current comic shop owner, there's nothing different there when it comes to publicity.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what happened with Halloween Comic Fest. What was this all about?
Well, we just got some free books to give out. As far as most of them are younger reader.
Yeah, more for trick or treat.
Yeah, geared more that way. Yeah. Little books, ash cans they call them. So.
Yeah, I see Usagi Yojimbo over here.
Yeah, we got some
IDW.
superhero girls. Miles Morales.
And of course, Pokemon. You cannot do this without Pokemon. Okay. So it's another one of those things that's supposed to help drive traffic to the store. Did it work?
Not particularly.
Compared to a typical Saturday, was traffic up or down? Because a word of warning, it rained all day.
But
here.
honestly, it's like it was most of the loyals. I mean, the regulars would come in to kind of support it, but and people on social media shared it and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, traffic was up a little bit, but it wasn't a big
Wasn't a big
change.
thing.
Yeah.
So you still got all these comics left. You going to be open for Halloween evening during trick or treat? Hand these out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sit out front with a.
Yeah, and I made up some bundles if anybody wanted to, get those instead of giving out candy.
Hey, there you go.
And do it that way. But I'm not even sure what night is trick or treat.
You know, honestly, I know.
I'm not Sterling. I don't know. I believe it's. Shoot, I'm not sure if it's Thursday or not.
I was going to say, like,
Last I heard, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Because it's not any particular thing. A lot of the trunk or treat places that the churches are doing, I think, are tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I think.
So that's what messes everybody up. They do different days and stuff like that.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was Halloween Comic Fest. Way to go, Diamond! Thanks for the multimedia support as usual. But anyway,
Yeah, they could have slammed it a little bit.
Yeah, they could. Okay. Let's get into a little current events right now. Like I said, before we get too much further into this, you're going to be seeing some weird edits.
Yeah, he's
Because-
going to be completely CGI.
Hologram. Hologram spy.
Actually, I'm thinking about just going. Now, you know, Chore of Duty's been down now for, what is it, 4 weeks? 4 weeks I've missed.
Well, we had a video.
We had a video. That was the technical glitch from 2 weeks ago where we didn't realize our little boom mic on there requires a AAA battery.
Oh wow.
So I thought we plugged it into the back to cap with the USB cable that would capture the
charge.
No, so as far as I can tell, hold on. As far as I can tell, yeah, the light's lit, so we're good. Okay.
People are freaking out. Ah!
Flex the mighty Manier inside mustache there.
So you got to be careful. Remember, this is 4K, so you can see it.
This is barely even Y2K. What the hell are you talking about? Anyway, getting into some of the news this week. Have you picked up anything? You were sitting there sweating me this morning saying, should I have a list of topics ready to go?
Well, I mean, I asked if you had anything good to talk about. You said
Oh,
you
I've
did,
got
so
all kinds of things to talk about. Yeah.
All mine is just the boring regular stuff. It's either superhero news or
Let's hear some
Superhero news.
superhero news.
Superhero news. Like there's anything else for
it's
for
always
nerds
out.
to watch. Joker wound up being top grossing. Take it back. So at the moment, top most profitable R-rated movie ever filmed. I think still got to do a little catching up with Deadpool. Last I saw, may have overtaken.
Actually,
by then,
it is
but-
already over.
Yeah,
It
I think it's
Deadpool.
number one
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
So the most profitable R-rated movie ever. Now, I think I actually sent a tweet out about this a little while ago. I found on Twitter because Marvel's biggest movie ever was Avengers Endgame. Had what, 40 characters in it? Crossover between Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers,
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
The whole MCU.
Crossed over into Sony Pictures, for God's sake. And Marvel said there's no way in hell DC ever tops this. And DC's response, quote, send in the clown.
Yeah.
Done. Done. And do you doubt Joker crosses the $1 billion box office? Because he's, last I saw, was 930 global.
I don't doubt it. I think what's really funny is that there was all this talk about how it's going to influence violence out there in the world, and all I'm seeing is a bunch of people posting pictures of themselves dancing on those steps. Like, that's all I see. And it's like, oh yeah, that's violence, all right.
That was pretty. That was a pretty nasty meme that popped out of there. But that's been all over Reddit ever since the film came out. Was somebody dancing on a set of steps looking like this? But anyway,
Yeah, or him and Spider-Man 3.
oh,
Yeah,
God.
oh,
You know, like the ones them dancing
No.
together.
Dance off right there.
Yeah.
Have you seen any? All right, you're on the front lines of the comic book industry. Are you seeing any effect as far as the Joker books are going?
Oh yeah. DC's pushing him hard.
Oh yeah, but other. I mean, DC can sit there
And
they
they're
can
selling
push
good.
shit all day. It's actually selling.
Yeah. Most of it now, and most of it's quality. I
Yeah.
mean, like John Carpenter did. He wrote a new one-shot Year of the Villain.
Mhm.
It was really good. A lot of Black Label stuff is really good.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Joker's one of those. Marvel has the big events, the big, huge cast of jillions and stuff like that. DC has I want to say the paragons of the industry. They are the icons, okay? The closest thing Marvel's got to an icon is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay, that's the closest thing they got. Marvel's got Spider-Man. DC has Superman. They have Batman. They have Wonder Woman. They have Shazam. Okay, I would argue that's an icon. Green Arrow. You can argue that if you want, but I'm telling you that this was the dude that I'll get into that story some other time. But Green Arrow, which we actually need to get into because there's news about the Crisis crossover coming up in December. Like I said, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, all these, and the villains, for God's sake, Lex Luthor.
Now, if you're going to go down
Joker.
that list, I mean, Marvel is
Marvel's
Iron
got
Man, Thor, Venom. I mean, how huge is Venom?
It's kind of like Marvel's the PG version of comics, and DC's like the rated R version of comics.
Okay, you're full of shit.
Yeah, no, I
You're
would
full
not
of
agree with
shit.
that at all.
What?
Okay, now hold on. The Joker is R-rated. Okay, DC.
Superman is as G as it gets.
Hold on.
Well, no, I take it.
No.
There are some, yeah.
But here's the thing: DC has a longer legacy. Okay, DC's got the legacy. Marvel is starting to get to that point, but Marvel's big weakness, and DC's having this too. Marvel's weakness is they can't adapt as easily to modern times. Spider-Man started out as a teenager in the 60s, okay, with the problems that a 60s teenager goes through. He gets a job as a reporter. So he winds up growing up, he's going to college, he's got a girlfriend, he's got another girlfriend, he's balancing all this stuff, he's juggling it, and then he has to deal with the close death, no spoilers here, he has to deal with the close death of somebody close to him, and he's got all these balls in the air, and then eventually he matures enough that he gets into a stable relationship with Mary Jane Watson, and they get married, and I'm not going to spoil that either, but Joe Quesada's a fucking idiot, and Marvel just cuts themselves off at the knees in order to think they're staying relevant. Okay? You have to have some kind of... It's the hardest thing in the world to do. Stay relevant and yet evolve. Superman, you've got to make some changes there because it's real easy to get into the trap. Superman's biggest problem is he's got all these powers. And he can develop powers just like that whenever he needs it. Including, I can't remember where this is from, including shooting little mini Superman out of his fists. Okay? This was an actual thing in a 1958 comic book, I think. He actually shot little Superman out of his fist.
Yeah, let's not mention that.
You get... That's now a part of Superman's iconography too. It's part of his legacy. The Silver Age was moronic, but truth, justice, the American way. They've outlasted everything, and now, here in the 21st century, here we go. Superman is considered a joke. People don't take him seriously anymore.
For sure, yeah.
But they actually had a story called What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And DC has actually addressed this issue repeatedly. Remember Superman versus the Elite?
Yeah.
And it was essentially, you take a set of British heroes or international heroes, essentially like a Grant Morrison quartet would be. And they go through and they take shortcuts, they kill people, they do whatever it takes, and it's all so they can get glory and increase their merchandise sales, I guess, basically. And Superman is basically chasing them the whole time because he's got restrictions they don't have. Until he decides he's going to take the cuffs off and play rough just like they do, and then all of a sudden everybody realizes there's a reason Superman keeps the cuffs on. Because if he doesn't, game over. Everybody dies screaming. And it's part of that, again, truth, justice, the American way. It's one of those things that DC does well, and they explore it in different ways because they have that much legacy and they can come at it from different angles. They've done it with Superman, they've done it with Batman, they've done it with the Flash, all to hell. They do it with Green Lantern, although not as well. They've done it with Wonder Woman, although not as much. They need to actually work on that. But hold on, I'm gotten off on a rant again. But DC right now DC is the better storyteller. Has been since the mid '80s. And you doubt me? I've got two teams for you: X-Men and Justice League. Compare and contrast the two. The X-Men sold better in the '80s. They sold better in the '90s.
Yeah, but what about
Yeah,
the
but-
Avengers? I mean,
Which
the
Avengers?
Avengers?
Which Avengers?
The new Avengers run.
Which Avengers? Which new Avengers run?
The current Avengers.
There's about 30 of them. Pick a team.
Well, no,
See,
there's
this is-
only one.
This is something. Yeah, I know. For a long time though, there was
New
you had-
Avengers.
You had the Great Lakes Avengers. You had all these other
See,
guys.
but I think Marvel's starting to learn from a lot of those
Finally.
mistakes.
But and DC's actually going in a different direction with Justice League, because how many Justice League books do you have right now?
2, Justice League Dark and Justice League.
You have Justice League. I think seems to be like there's a third one, but I can't think
There
what
may
it
be.
was. Eh,
See, I don't do much. I mean, I don't have a lot of call for much DC.
yeah.
I mean, Marvel is.
But the thing about Marvel is that the only reason why they're selling is because of the movies.
That
To
helps
be
for
absolutely
sure.
honest.
Absolutely.
It's only because of the movies. And that was the thing that I tried to explain to people. It's like, if you ask somebody who doesn't know nothing about comic books, before Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie came out, if you ask anybody, it'd be like, who's in the Avengers? They could probably mention Hulk, Captain America, maybe. You ask, who's in Justice League? Well, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, they can mention those. But ever since Iron Man took off, and then you have all these movies that you have now, man, people know exactly who's in what, and
See,
what
that's exactly
character
why I
does
can
what.
say Iron Man is more iconic than a lot of the DC characters you name now, as far as society goes now, because of the movies. I mean,
That actually brings up another point, though, because Marvel's entire multimedia effort is much more coordinated than DC.
oh, for sure.
Okay, with Marvel. Okay, Marvel's owned by Disney, all right? The reason Marvel's owned by Disney is not because of Marvel Comics. And it's not because of Marvel Characters, Inc. Because the Marvel Movie Studio.
Yeah.
The Marvel TV Studio. The Marvel Production Studio. Which now, if you consider it as its own studio instead of just a division of Disney, it's one of the top 6 or 7 in all of Hollywood. It actually outpaces some of the so-called major studios. But with Marvel, the Marvel Studios is a part of Marvel Characters, which also owns Marvel Comics. So it's a coordinated effort. They work a lot more closely with each other. DC's multimedia efforts are run by Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers owns DC. DC, until here recently, did not really have much of a production studio effort behind them. And it's still, for that matter, the animation still runs through Warner Brothers Animation. So,
But they're getting better.
oh, they're getting better, but who keeps the profits off of the DC properties? Who keeps the profit off of Marvel? Marvel
Now,
does.
Disney.
Yeah.
Marvel does, and Disney gets it eventually.
Yeah.
But the way it operates, it goes through Marvel. DC, it's not DC.
DC never sees the Warner Brothers money.
DC never sees the Warner money. No. So and that's a part of the problem, because now that AT&T's taken over, remember that story from a little while back. There was talk, scuttlebutt online there for a while, that AT&T was thinking of divesting DC, just jettisoning them and keeping Warner, because nobody knew exactly what AT&T was going to do, and anybody who's actually owned an AT&T cell phone for a while can admit AT&T does not know what they're doing. So, but anyway, so final thoughts. We actually started this with the Joker. We just gone way up.
I'm not sure where we ended up either.
Send in the Clown was where we divested. So
Great movie. Great movie.
great movie. You've both seen it. I still haven't seen it. Most likely,
I
going to
didn't. I
see
didn't
it.
come out feeling good, but I was happy I watched it.
Well, see, now that's the thing. Like, I keep telling people, it's like, even with the the trailer for the movie, you can definitely tell that it's going to be a depressing movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like, well, you know, I don't know if I really want to go watch this movie because I don't want to go and watch and be depressed.
Yeah, it's one of those you walk out and you're just, you don't say anything.
And
you're not like, oh, that was such a great movie. Oh.
Yeah, and people are praising this movie, calling it a masterpiece and stuff like that. I wouldn't go that far. It's a good movie. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But
I would need to watch it again to catch some of the nuance.
See, that's the thing. Like with me, it's one of those movies. Like there's good movies out there that you can watch over and over and over again, and then there's just good movie where all you need to do is watch it once, but you really don't want to revisit that depression again.
I get that.
And to me, Joker's just one of those one-time only for me. It's like I can't watch it again. If I did, I would have to fast forward to until like the last 30 minutes of the movie, and when he actually becomes Joker, because that was the exciting part. The way I see it, it's like, and I do that to movies now. I'll actually fast forward to the good parts.
Yeah, I've been known to do that. Seriously, Die Hard.
Sometimes you're just in the mood for the cheeseburger.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want fries.
I mean, there are times you want the steak. Okay, you want the steak. You want maybe some broccoli and cheese on the side, some mashed potatoes, a little gravy in there, maybe a little A1 sauce on the side. I know somebody out there is throwing things. I'm talking about putting A1 on a steak, but sometimes you just want a frickin' cheeseburger. You don't want the steak. So sometimes you just want to see Bruce Willis blow away a bunch of bad guys in Die Hard. You don't want to sit through all the awkward setup between him and his ex-wife.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly.
So
toes in the carpet. Especially your toes.
So anyway, any final thoughts on Joker before we wrap that little section?
No, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah,
You're fine.
What you got next?
Okay, coming up next, we're gonna pause for now. I'm going to cut this video up. We'll come back. We'll do next episode is going to be on professional wrestling this week. Namely, why the World Series seems to have it out for wrestling this week. I don't know why, but
they just scheduled on the wrestling nights.
Yeah, we'll get into it here in just a second. We'll see y'all next time on Geekin' Out.